Hi, I'm Rob and this is Ambition to Achieve. Today I'm joined by Kim and we're going to do a deep dive into her business journey. So would you like to introduce yourself and tell us what you're building?
Well, thank you for having me.
No worries.
So, as Rob said, my name's Kim, and where can I start? So, I work within the mental health side of things, and what I'm building is learning to so something called human design. I'm going to start from the beginning.
Okay.
Human design isn't a new thing. It's years and years and years old. And I found human design when I was really struggling with my mental health. So I didn't start off in this business. I didn't start off thinking this is what I want to do. I started off working in a nursery because that's what I loved doing. I loved working with kids. I left school and I worked with kids and I absolutely adored it. And I did that for a good few years of my younger self, a long time ago. So what I found was that the whole situation with the staff and the people that I worked with was quite toxic. I was a young girl. I had so much ambition. I wanted to change the world.
Amazing.
Yeah, but this wasn't the place to be doing that. And over a few years, I got quite sick. I started getting quite anxious. I didn't know it was anxiety at the time. Now it's got a name. And I just started feeling quite sad. And I didn't have this idea what it was about. So anyway, I kept going with that. And I was married at the time. I got married when I was young. And I found out I was pregnant. I was like, over the moon, right? I mean, it was perfect. And I thought, that's why I've been feeling these feelings. And anyway, time went on. And unfortunately, I had a miscarriage.
Okay.
And as if that wasn't hard enough, when it came to tell my boss that I couldn't be in work because I'd had a miscarriage and it ruined me, she didn't believe me.
Okay.
She was like no, and I didn't know what to do. Like I said, I'd never really had another kind of job before. I just had this job, something I loved, and I was like, and something triggered inside of me, like quite angry, thinking like, how dare you not believe me? I'm like, I'm going through this pain, both physically, emotionally, and you don't believe me. So I actually went back to the doctors, to the hospital for the man that was helping me. And I got a letter, a doctor's letter, and I went back to the place and I basically stuck it in her face, to put it nicely. And anyways, I left and I never went back. But of course, my mental health carried on declining. It was getting worse and worse and worse, and I was still putting it down to this trauma that I'd had. No, I'm not saying it was, and I'm not saying it wasn't. And it went on for years and months at a time. I'd be in bed, I'd be constantly sleeping, I'd be grumpy. There was just no way out of it. So it was fine for a bit because I had built that money up so I could live on that. Anyway, things went from bad to worse. I ended up having a divorce. I ended up being in another relationship which was quite abusive and quite toxic in that. And my mental health just got worse and worse and worse. And at the time, I didn't know where to go. There was nothing. There was no proper internet at the time, so I didn't know I could go on there. There was no help from the NHS. There was no one I knew around me who felt like I was feeling at the time. So I went through all of that and I tried everything. I eventually tried CBT, therapy, all the traditional types of therapy that is out there. And yeah, some of it did work for me at that time. So I managed to get myself out and start talking to people, just being the old me, as if to say. And a few years later, I met the most wonderful person and we had a baby. And I was like, and we actually had the baby. She's 13 now. And my whole life changed. And I thought, this is amazing. But the thing was, my life changed, but my thoughts didn't.
It's still the same.
Still the same.
Bringing you down.
Yeah. And it was getting worse again. And I thought, right, go back to therapy. So I'd have free therapy, then I'd pay for therapy. And then the more things I was doing, I realised, oh, I have no money. Like, I literally had nothing, you know? And I thought, I need to do something, and I ain't going back to that, to a job. Like, because everything to me, I didn't think of any other job because I was just qualified in working with children. That's all I knew how to do. And I thought, I'm not going back there, but what do I do? So me being me, like, oh, okay, I'll join a network marketing company. And so I did. And it didn't quite work out as I thought it would. I probably lost more money. Now, I have nothing against them at all. And, you know, they did pay my way a little bit, but not what I wanted. And on top of that, the stress of being constantly told to sell, made me feel sick. Like, don't get me wrong, I loved the things that I was using, the products I was using and all that, but to sell it to someone, if it didn't work for me,
didn't sit comfortably. Yeah.
You know, there was something quite off about that. But again, it didn't help me financially. And it came to when my daughter was in school and she wanted to go on a school trip, little things like that. And I was like, I can't do this. Like, I have not got the money to do this. And anyway, that probably went on for about nearly 2 years. You know, I was getting by, I guess is probably the right thing to say, because unfortunately you think when your child wants to go on a trip, that's a luxury.
You want to provide as well, don't you? It's difficult as a parent, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It's a juggling act, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, and I just wanted to give her the world, and I was trying my damn hardest to do that. It wasn't happening. So I met a lady on Facebook. It was quite funny because I was still having these thoughts, right? And I started talking to a lady on Facebook, and I'll never forget, she introduced me to a Facebook group for mental health. And I was like, oh, okay, this might help. So at the time, not many people know this, so now everyone's going to know this. I was suicidal. Okay. But it was because my daughter, she was the only thing stopping me from trying. But the thoughts just never went. They were always there. And I just thought I was broken. You know, I was like, there's no fixing me, I'm just going to get on with it. You know, my anxiety was so high. My depression, like I said, I was barely getting out of bed. Like, if it wasn't for my partner, then my little girl wouldn't be going to school and everything like that. He was trying to look after me, trying to look after the baby. It was hard, you know, and I just thought, I don't want to be here at all. But then I'm like looking at her, okay, I got this. And anyway, I joined this Facebook group, and I'd say probably quite literally saved my life. Quite literally.
That's quite a claim, isn't it?
Very much so. Yeah. And like I said, I wasn't really into the internet. I didn't really do much with the internet, anything like that, because I couldn't afford the Wi-Fi, things like that, you know. So it was quite, like, I remember talking to her, we cried, we did a Zoom call, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. I don't know you, but do you know what, it's the best thing I ever did. And we cried, and she said, you know, I've got a friend who does this, and I feel like this. And I was like, so I'm not the only one that feels like this? Okay, great. You know, it gave me that sense of purpose.
Starting to see, that there's other people. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so anyway, I started like doing things on Facebook, loving this. Then I came across another lady, and at the same time, I was still seeing a psychologist in Spitz-Gwynedd, and I got diagnosed with bipolar. Okay. So I was like, okay, this makes sense. At least I know there's something, I'm not going crazy, right?
Now you can almost put a name to it and understand it a bit better, isn't it?
Yeah. And I know a label is a label, right? But that label to me genuinely made me feel like I wasn't going crazy. There was something, like you said, a name to it, and that helped me so much. And that was a long time ago. And anyway, I came across another lady, and she owned, I think she still does own, a social media agency.
Okay.
And I thought, oh, that's interesting. Okay, I thought, oh, I could do that. I'll ask her for a job. And she said, no, at the moment we don't have anyone working for us, but I can teach you how to do it yourself. I was so in. I was like, yeah, okay, let's do this. Thinking that I could grow my network marketing business, right? If I knew all the tricks, the tips, the strategy and stuff like that, I could grow my business and make more money. It didn't quite work like that, but what I did do was start my own social media business.
Right.
And I loved it. Absolutely loved it. I loved connecting with people. I loved just talking to people. I loved doing the strategy for people, the stats, everything. I absolutely loved it. Sorry, I'm a bit nosy.
No, it's okay. It's quite nice here because I mean
lovely,
the viewers can't see, can they? But we've got two screens. Then we're looking. Yeah. Well, I don't know if you can see it, Kim, but I can see right out if it was a clear day to the Snowdon mountain range. So
I can see half of it.
Sometimes, sorry guys, if you see us turning and looking that way, we're just admiring the view, aren't we? Because it's a lovely location.
It is a beautiful place. So thank you. Yeah. So where were we? Oh yeah, social media. So I started my own social media company, business, whatever you want to call it. So by this time, I knew I was made for something else. I knew I was made for more rather than...
To be an entrepreneur or self-employment, yeah.
And this hadn't been in my life, so I didn't even know it was a thing apart from the network marketing, but that's a whole different system of things, right? You had the support. With this social media, I just had her. And she was amazing. She was an amazing mentor. She taught me everything I knew. And I worked with some big clients in America, in the UK. For legal reasons, I can't say who.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
But multi-million-dollar companies, various charities and stuff like that. And I was bloody good at what I did. And I loved it. But there was something still niggling at me. I was thinking...
Ambition?
I would say it was, absolutely.
To give it a name?
Absolutely. And there was just something, I was like, I need to do something else, it was all this and that.
Like that fire in your belly?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And, I can feel it now. I can feel that.
Because you're talking about it and reliving it.
Yeah,
you're going back to that time.
And I love that, right? So, so I carried on what I was doing. And don't get me wrong, I still had the moments of where I was very anxious, where I was, rather than depression, because by now I was on medication, and I still am on medication, right? Let's get that clear. I'm not against medication. But they weren't as bad, So I was getting out there more. I was going to business events, Birmingham, London, Manchester, wherever I was going. And but like I said, I knew there was something missing, I have to say. Yeah. So I went to a business meeting in, was it Birmingham or Manchester? Anyway, it doesn't matter. And started talking to the most incredible person I probably ever met. She just started talking to me like a normal person does, right? Like we're talking. And she mentioned this thing called human design. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay, it's a bit of woo-hoo. Yeah, that's genuinely how I thought.
Yeah, the name. I mean, it's something we've been talking for a few months, haven't we, about this, and you mentioned human design, and it's something that I'd never heard of before. Yeah. So really interested for you to tell me more about it so I gain an understanding as well.
Absolutely. So, like when she was talking to me, we're all designed to be something. We're all designed to work different in this world, to live different in this world according to our energy, right? So what's really interesting is I'm something you called a manifesting generator. Okay. MG for short, okay? So you have generators, you have manifestors, you have projectors and reflectors. Now, I'm not going to tell you the whole shebang because we will be here till next week, okay? But I have something what you call an emotional authority. Okay, which means I have a defined solar plexus. So
Right.
do you know anything about the chakra system?
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit,
yeah.
okay. So
Not
I'm
a lot.
Yeah. So we all have channels. We were all born from the neutrons and stuff like that. And like I said, it does sound a bit ooh-hoo, but there's so much scientific side to it as well. Now, I like the scientific part to it. I mean, there's no doubt that there's leaders in the world and then there's workers in the world. And some people are good at this, some people are good at that.
There is a hierarchy. So there's natural,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, it just happens.
in anything, in any walk of life, there's natural hierarchy, isn't there?
Yeah. And the thing is, the more you know about human design and stuff like that, the more you realise, hang on a minute, I'm made for more. You know, I know it, like a lot of people think that they're made for more, and they are absolutely made for more. But for example, you'll find a lot of people that's in higher creative things, right? They are usually manifestors, and they can come across as bossy. Okay, so when you understand you're a manifestor, you're not actually bossy. You've got a defined throat. So you get the urge, so you get that urge to talk. So it's like, right, do this. But that's not against you. That's them working their design. That's them working their energy.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I'm a manager, so I might say manager, MG. Okay, it's all the same thing.
Have to get used to the terminology and understand it. Yeah.
I'll make you a little pack.
Little book, so I know what these terminology and these bits are.
Yeah. And to be fair, it does confuse some people, so I need to work on the simplicity of that. So like I said, I'm an MG and I have an emotional authority. So what an emotional authority means is that I'm designed that I feel my emotions deep.
Right, okay.
Okay, compared to someone who hasn't got a defined
more kind of surface level feelings. Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
They have the capability of feeling the feelings and letting it go. Not everyone can, but with practice, absolutely. Okay, you're empowered or you're disempowered or you're finding your power. There's so much into it. So when I found out I had this emotion, I thought, okay, this woman does not know me from Adam. She did not know I had bipolar. She did not know, well, I have ADHD now as well, anxiety and nothing. We just talked, you know. I was putting a brave face on, being to this event, crying my eyes out before I get there, come back, smile on my face, right? And she said, would you mind if I do your chart? Because you can get a chart, right? And I was like, no, whatever you need to do, get on with it, sell me something. But she wasn't selling me anything. In fact, she sold me the world without even knowing it, right? And she looked at my chart and she goes, do you have really strong feelings? And I was like, what do you mean strong feelings? Like, do you have some kind of a wave? Do you sometimes feel quite high and like I could take over the world? And then quite like melancholy?
Quite low.
Basically quite low. And I was like, maybe, right? I was like, yeah, I'm not giving into this, but keep going. And anyway, she told me so much. And I remember going to, because we were staying in an Airbnb. I remember going into the bedroom and I was like, damn, this woman knows me but doesn't know me. I was so confused, okay? So I started doing little dives and stuff like that, so much that I didn't go to the event the next day because I was so focused on this human design
and understanding
it. Yeah. And I thought, I need to know more about this. So I trained in it. And I trained with her because I was like, I need to know more about this. And she said to me, you have an emotional authority, wait 24 hours and then tell me you still want to do it. And I was like, no, I want to do this now, you know, but I waited and I was like, I still want to do it. Is that okay? So anyway, fully trained into it, got my certification and everything like that. It took a couple of years just to understand myself. And I thought, hang on a minute. Like, yeah, am I still bipolar? Of course I am. It's not got rid of my bipolar. But can I ride the waves now? Absolutely.
Because you understand it more, is it?
Because I understand it. Yeah, because...
I suppose knowledge is power, isn't it?
Absolutely. You know, so when I start feeling low, I know now what I can do to bring myself up. But most of the time, I ride it.
That's interesting,
and
isn't it?
I don't spiral. You know, I've not had a depressive episode in so long. I've not had a manic episode because I was manic as well, hence the bipolar, right? and my anxiety started like just not disappearing, but
leveling itself out.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, like, just for example, I was quite nervous coming here today, right? You know, so I sat in the
think
car.
all our guests are on this channel.
I don't know why, because you're amazing.
Well,
you know, the whole place is lovely.
Yeah,
you're
we
lovely.
try our best. You know, it's
comfortable.
It's nerve-wracking, you know, to dig deep into a story. We all feel it, don't we?
Yeah,
we all feel those nerves.
You know, I've probably told my story 1,000 times, but it's still
pertinent to you. It's still strong.
Absolutely. But you know, with my anxiety, like, it didn't last long. Obviously you help with that because you're easygoing, but I just sat in the car and I just went basically.
Sometimes, right? I mean, in the previous interview we were talking about, well, in both of this morning's interviews, talking about meeting things head on. Sometimes as you came through the door, you said to me, I'm putting myself out of my comfort zone, and sometimes it is just, you know, you've got to sometimes go head on and try these things and tell your story, because by talking about it, it helps, doesn't it? Do you find that that's helping you the more you put your story across and your understanding of new situations? Yeah,
I have this saying that says, it changes every now and then, but your story will change the world. And do you know what? I genuinely believe that. I genuinely believe that, because the more people I tell about my mental health, where I was, like, I didn't want to be here, to someone who wants to just go and build something incredible, the biggest movements there is. That is incredible.
It's a massive shift, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And guaranteed there's probably somebody out there watching this who is in a situation similar to yours, where they think that they can't move on from where they are. And hopefully by sharing that story, it empowers that person to go for it, you know. So that's obviously the early stages of your journey and what you're building.
Did I even answer your question?
I think, I mean, you know, I'm just looking at the list here. We've got the prompts here, and I think you've answered nearly all of them in that kind of conversation. So
I have a defined throat, so I talk a lot.
No, it's okay. It, you know, makes my job easier, because it means it comes out nice and naturally. And what would you say then was the hardest part of your journey, and were there moments where you thought, actually, this isn't going to work? Did you have those moments where it was difficult?
I did. I had so many moments, and like I said, I'm not doing the social media side of things now, but this goes for then as well. What I'm building now, especially, there are days where, just for an example, you'll get a really horrible comment on a social media post that you put your heart in to put out. You get a horrible comment, and that will bring you down, right? And you're thinking, do I need to do this anymore? Or I'm not good enough. You know, all these things that had to go in. And like, for me personally, I think the hardest thing for me was working around my daughter, because people say, oh, you work from home, you must get loads of breaks. Now I do, but I didn't.
Never used to,
You know, and people think, again, it's like no fault of their own. They just think it's easier to run your own business and be your own boss. And I suppose in a lot of ways it is easier.
There's a lot of flexibilities now, I suppose. I mean, is work-life balance even a term that's used anymore? But it's having that flexibility and being able to, say, for example, you need to leave to get your kids at 2 in the afternoon, or 1 or 12 or whatever. You don't have to ask permission. I suppose it's that life by design, isn't it? Having the flexibility to do that.
Exactly.
But, you know, we're talking then about the hard part of the journey. That sometimes comes with, you know, I was talking to a gentleman this morning, and he was saying about how the exciting part for him is logging into his email in the morning and seeing that there's some inquiries, some fresh energy, new work. But he said, when you're self-employed as opposed to being employed, it's very different, because you've got to constantly see where the money's coming from. So on one hand, you've got this lovely flexibility, and then on the other hand, there's this struggle, right, where's the next job? Where's the money coming from? So have you felt that kind of balance act?
I still find it out, because when you're self-employed and you work with clients, you just don't know. Whereas in a quote-unquote stable 9-to-5 job, like you said, you're there unless you get fired. But do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you know,
it's guaranteed.
It's guaranteed
payday,
money.
Isn't it? Every one day to the month.
Yeah, and like I said, I've been an entrepreneur for quite a long time, and there has been months where I'm like, okay, there's nothing coming in.
Things are
What do I
hard,
do?
yeah.
But what overtakes all of that is the freedom. Like I said, it's not necessarily easier to work from home and be your own boss, but the freedom you get, that means a lot to me. And again, that's part of my design, to have freedom.
I think also, you know, when I have these conversations, and I've been on my own entrepreneurial journey, I always caption it as, you can't ever put a price tag on that freedom.
No.
There's no price. Nobody could turn to you and say, I'll give you £1,000 to give you my to give you freedom to me.
No, nothing.
There's no price tag on that.
No.
That is the silver lining, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the kind of gold dust of being self-employed.
Absolutely. And you know, like, a stable, I don't really know what to call it, like, I'll say 9 to 5. That's
Stable income, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah, it's, you know, that. But
Guaranteed
even that,
income.
it's guaranteed, yeah, but is it? You know, you don't actually know.
You look at the advancement of technology. I mean, you know, we're surrounded by technology today doing this, and AI. We're talking about that this morning, you know, how AI would potentially take over some industries, some jobs, like clerical admin type roles.
Yeah.
So I suppose
don't know,
when you
do
think
you?
about it like that, if you were in that type of role, that industry, is it safe? You know, is it a job for life, as people used to say?
Yeah. But that's it. And I think it's totally, and there's nothing wrong with a 9 to 5, don't get me wrong. Like, I know plenty of people who are so happy in what they do, and that's perfect. But for some people, it's not. Okay, and
it's
that's
about
fine.
what you want, isn't it? You know,
exactly.
You talk about their, you know, design and stuff, and people are wired differently. I think some people like the stability of a 9 to 5. They like to be able to go in, do a job, and come home. Whereas other people don't thrive in that environment. You still have that fire in your belly that you have to do something that is clearly associated to your own.
Absolutely.
You know, your own life, really.
Yeah. And you know, you were saying about the work-life balance, and that's been quite a challenge for me, especially working from home, because you haven't got that door to shut. I'm really lucky because I have an extra room which I use for an office, so I shut the door.
That's amazing,
done.
I suppose. Yeah, you can walk away, can you? It's sometimes it's that mindset of work is in there, not in the living room or kitchen table or dining room where you have to stare at it.
Exactly, because
24/7.
When you're working for yourself, like, and you love what you do, you'll keep working and working and working.
Yeah.
So you have to have that boundary.
That's
of
that
like
burnout risk, isn't it? You have to draw the line. Yeah,
absolutely. And so you know, that was quite a challenge. Thankfully, sometimes I know now, like, I'm done
able
now.
to break away.
Yeah, you know, I'm gonna go for a walk, or I'm gonna go to the beach, and I do work sitting on the beach sometimes. Depends on the signal, things like that.
Again, that comes down to life by design and flexibility, doesn't it? Because no employer would let you go to the beach, would they, to do your emails or whatever. But you know, talking there about difficulties and challenges, I do think burnout culture is a challenge in the entrepreneurial world. As you say, you know, it's easy to not be able to differentiate between the flexibility of doing, say, 3 hours between 5 a.m. and 8 a.m. and then picking the laptop up again at 10 p.m. when the kids are asleep.
Yeah.
You know, so you have to be careful that it doesn't creep into that burnout culture where you end up doing like 18-hour days and, you know, and having that kind of
and that's
way of
where,
working.
The boundaries come in as well. But that is part of what I teach now, after knowing more about how to, I'm not going to say fix, because I didn't fix myself, I just was myself. Like, I teach people how their human design connects to what they do, or how they're living, if they're entrepreneurs or not, or if they work 9 to 5, anything, and how to stop that burnout. So not stop it, because if you work against your design, you are going to burn out. But it's how to go with the flow so you're not burning out. Whereas if that's moving your body, for example, every day, or I do a lot of dancing, not professionally obviously, kitchen dancing, things like that, because that fires me up. or if it's to put boundaries in place.
Did you dance before coming today?
I did.
Did you?
Yeah. It's my thing.
Get your energy levels going, yeah. And that's amazing, isn't it?
So
if that works for you.
Yeah, exactly. Great. I have something called a defined sacrum, and it's like a motor centre. Right. It's a motor centre. It's a generator, basically, right? And how I get energy is by moving. So I love going to the gym. Like, I love having a run. I say run, it's more like a fast walk, right? Run in the gym, or I go onto the beach. I walk a lot on the beach. I walk and things like that. And when I'm quite sitting down, when I feel tired or something like that, most people don't want to actually do anything, right? And I'm the same. When I'm tired, or when I'm just having I'm not going to swear,
a down day.
A down day.
Yeah.
Like, most people don't want to move. But if you're a generator or a manifesting generator, the more you move, the better will bring you out of that.
Right, okay. Yeah. That's interesting, isn't it? Yeah.
So, like, with a projector, a manifestor and a reflector, it's different. But
so are you able to read people then with this?
I can if you give me your chart, yes.
Right, okay. Right. That might be something that we need to work on for the next video.
Absolutely.
And we can talk more, maybe go more into detail about, you know, if we do a video just on that and your journey around that and your ability maybe to read me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And state that on the chart.
Yeah, I'd love that.
It's interesting, isn't it?
There's so much to learn. There are things I don't know. When you start going into the planet alignment and all that, I'm like, you know, because
it's
like
a lot
I said,
to take in,
it absolutely is. And like I said, I only did it to help myself. But then when I realised that I could help other people who have mental health problems, I use the word problems, by the way, because a lot of people know the word, and I use it for myself and stuff like that. And it could be to a severe diagnosis, and I'm not taking that out, because if you think, I have to make this clear, if you think you need medical help, you go and get medical help. This is not me saying don't, okay, because I believe in medication. I'm still on medication, and I have been for a long time. It is very, very low now compared to what it was, but I'm still on it, and I'm not taking that away from anyone. And especially if you're suicidal, anything like that, go and get help.
Get the professional
Absolutely,
help,
you know. But then just think, how can what you know about yourself and how you work,
it can be quite empowering though, can't it? You know, if you understand, like, you might go through all of your childhood and your teens and your 20s thinking, I'm not quite right here. But when you go through the journey that you've been through and you gain that understanding, you know, it must be empowering to be able to open the door on something that you didn't understand previously.
Absolutely.
And I suppose, you know, we've spoken about medication, but take the medication away, just sometimes that change of mindset and that empowerment can make you feel physically and mentally better, can't it?
Absolutely.
When you can actually put a name on this and understand on the chart that this is what it means.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, and this is what I want to do. And this is where I belong. Okay. Like all the other jobs I've had and stuff like that, I belonged at that time. Right? But this
it's a journey,
hard.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Life is a journey.
And it's like what I do now and what I have done, because just for example, I don't run it now, I've passed it on to someone else, but I ran a mental health support group in PG.
Right.
And it's something I've always wanted to do but never quite had the guts to start it, and I did it for around a year, met some incredible people, and even though it was there just for them to have that support, my stories, other people's stories, to talk to each other about different stories and for them to understand, oh, hang on a minute, like I have an undefined G centre, that makes sense. Right, and to see them people
the change, I would imagine,
over the year. I had, for example, I had someone coming in the first night, my biggest supporter, I'll be honest, and this person went from like, I don't want to be here, shaking, to persevering, to actually wanting to run that group for me by the end of the year.
It's incredible,
all because they knew.
It's incredible.
Yeah, and you know what? I felt so proud of. I'm proud of every single one of them people, and it's a shame I can't say the names, but I won't. But the groups are still running, by the way, on a Wednesday night, and the change in them. And I just thought, do you know what? I love what I do. I really love it, and yeah, it's helped me. Of course, it has. but the movement I can make with mental health in this world is just incredible. All because you've basically got 24/7 help inside your body.
Yeah, and understanding that. And that brings us nicely on to, I mean, the time has flown by with you, Kim.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's been nice to, to understand something a bit different. That brings us on to the kind of conclusion of the video then. You were talking there about how, you've helped people through the group. What would be one piece of advice you'd give to somebody thinking about starting, and what kind of mistakes would they avoid in that kind of startup journey?
So I always believe if you want to do something, try it.
Just go for it.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Right?
It's interesting because you're the third person today that said that to me. You've just got to go for it.
I mean, there's different ways you can do it. It doesn't mean that you have to give up your, I don't know, £10,000 job a month. It doesn't mean you have to give up that to do it. But, get into it.
Try and have it, even if it's just, I mean, there's side hustle nowadays.
Yeah, side hustle, that's the word. Although I don't like the word hustle, it weirds me out. Yeah. But that's exactly what it is. Go for it. You don't know unless you try, and do you know what? I would like to say that you're not going to fail, but you probably are, and that's okay.
Yeah. And failure, do you know what? Failure is, I mean, I've come to this conversation today after 10, 15 years of being an entrepreneur. And, I've got 2 pretty big failed businesses behind me. But what I learned through that failure is nothing like going to a college and reading a book and trying to learn how to not fail in business,
Exactly.
So it does open doors. It does give you a lot to learn in. Dare I say, it was an amazing experience sometimes to fail in that particular status of the business,
trial
to understand it more.
Yeah. And and even that, like you said with your businesses, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to fail at your business, but you might fail at promoting it or something. It can be tiny little things, but the thing is having that perseverance. If you really want to do it, you have to go for it, because what's worse for you, going for it and not quite doing it right, or failing, like we say,
and learning
or just
from it,
saying what if for the rest of your life. Like, do you know what, if I would have started that business, I wonder where I'd be now. Would I be a millionaire? Like, you just don't know, do you?
What you don't want to be is to get to being, let's say, 75, 80 years of age and regretting the things you didn't do. And you know what, that brings us on beautifully now to the last bit of it. What does ambition mean to you personally? As the last question in this video. See you firing up.
Yeah, fire, going for it, changing the world. That I love the word ambition. And I've always had the word ambition. Like, I've always said I'm ambitious, but it can be loads of different things, but still have that fire, right? I mean, some people who have that ambition have built rocket ships and stuff like that, right? And then
there's different classifications, isn't there?
And then some people have built a little catio for their cat, like me. Do you know what I mean? There's so many things, but it's having that seeing my hands just go like that.
You're raring to go.
It's having that ambition, that fire to do it, to change something, right? I have an ambition to change the world, and I will. Yeah, but it just might not be in the way some people think.
Yeah, it's having that impact, isn't it? In these conversations that we have, it's interesting sometimes, but we can always pull out the impact that you do. Ambition, as you say, is an amazing word, but it's also massive. It encapsulates dreams, success, failure. There's so much that goes into ambition and achievements. But I think, and the kind of core that underpins that is your impact.
Yes.
So who can you help in that journey? What can you pass on? Like this video today.
Yeah.
It's passing on that knowledge and that experience to hopefully somebody out there who
absolutely
is in a position that can use this for good.
Yeah. And my mentor taught me this, and it'll always stick in my head. It's impact over income. Because the more impact you make, the more income you'll make. But if you lead with that impact of people like these videos and stuff like that, the more you will build your own business anyway. So that is something to take with you into building your own business into a journey. Well. Yeah.
And also, with that, I think it's changing that mindset. Sometimes, I mean, I say passion over profit or
Yes,
people over
there we
profit.
go.
So you put the profit secondary. Yes, you still got to make a profit because businesses, you know, money makes the world go round, doesn't it? It's the old saying.
Yeah.
But I think it's one of them, if you can fix an issue for somebody that adds value, the income will follow. So if you go with a mindset of, we do that first, and then the income follows, I think that's the right way of doing it, isn't it?
Absolutely. And that was the difference with what I'm doing now. It's always impact. It's like, right, they need help, I'm going to help them. Whereas in my first experience, it was always, where's the money coming from? Where's the money coming from? You know, and all that.
Changes your mindset, doesn't it? When you change that way of thinking, I think the success comes to it because you change the kind of rationale around profit and loss and stuff, don't you? So, thank you, Kim.
It's all right.
It's been amazing to speak to you. I do feel we're going to have a follow-up video for this just to understand the charts and what you spoke about, and maybe you could set me on that chart and see what's there.
I'd love that.
But yeah, thank you for your time. So if you found any value from this video, please do give it a like and share the channel and consider subscribing. And if you are working your ambition, please do drop it in the comments, because I do read all your comments and I will get back to you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again soon.